Right, okay, I'm going to get started. We are a minute past 12. Hopefully everybody can see my screen. Thanks for joining. Nice to see some of you again. So yeah, let's just get going. So just a couple of housekeeping bits here first. So this won't take more than half an hour. It is, you'll see from the agenda on the next slide, it's a quick session because we are just running through one quarterly update. It's interactive. Feel free to have your cameras on, cameras off, or mute yourself. Interrupt me with any questions. We can cover some questions at the end as well, but feel free to ask me anything as we're moving through this session. And the recording will be available and sent to you within 24 hours of this session coming to a close. So this is the agenda today. So we are looking at the Q3 releases for Sell and Serve and Sugar Connect. My bad, I forgot to add that as 0.6. So we'll go through Sugar Connect as well. But yeah, so it's really some user interface, some dashlets and dashboard changes, a couple of changes in the administration section, as well as some new action button features, as well as some guided selling, formerly known as customer journey plugin. So with we'll just move on. So first section then, looking at the user interface for Sell and Serve. There's been a few redesigns on here, especially around the tile view. There's been some added functionality on the sales and service consoles if you use those. So a pagination enhancement added there. And there's some updated views around closing the console drawers and the focus drawers, as well as some additional filter operators. So I'm gonna this section here, I'm just going to show you some items so we can run through those. But in terms of the tile view, let's hop in. So let me just go down here, and here you should now be able to see an instance of SugarCRM, I hope. Oops, let me move that over there. Yep, you can see an instance of Sugar, guys. Yep, fabulous. Okay, so over to the tiles. So I'll just go over to the leads module for this. So we have the leads module here. Let me just take that filter out. There we go. So we have the list of leads here. Hopefully you're all aware that Sugar has a tile view. So when we click this now, you'll notice that it has changed. So it has more of a modern appearance. So it's been updated, with modern colors and styles, and it just kind of matches the other areas of Sugar. It now has individual column scrolling. So you can scroll up and down a tile whilst the column headers and the column itself remains in place. So we've got scrolling across these here. We have a column count and total now. So each column, as you can see from my screen, displays the number of tiles and the total value. If it's on opportunities, we'll have a look at that. But we can see we have 42 leads in new, 40 in assigned, 25 in process, and so on. And I'll just show you this from an opportunity view. So if I just take the filter out here, so you can see I have 4 opportunities to close in September with a total value of just over 43. So we've now got tile totals in the status, and we have the total value that's in that tile as well. And the same for opportunities by stage. If you're looking at it by stage instead of month, we have the total roll-ups over there as well. We can now, so on the last session, if you were with me, we covered a lot around focus draws. Focus draws, if you are using those, are now available in the TileView app as well. So we can see focus draws and we can access them from a tile view. It's also added a bit of stickiness. So previously, if you went from the opportunities module, for example, and went over to a different module and a different area within Sugar, normally when you went back to the opportunity module, it would just take you back to the list view. So it's just created some stickiness now. So when you do go back, it's left it in the view that you were looking at. And of course, if you want to look at the list view, you just hit the list view toggle there. Oh, another one. There's this new section here, the sort by drop down. So we can now say, I'd like to sort all of the items in the column, for example, by expected close date. So what you'll see is we have everything that's closing from the 29th of January and then right through to early January. And we can change that to say, well, actually show me anything early January to the end of January. So it just sorts it by whatever it is that you've selected in here as well. Okay, so that's pretty new. And in terms of additional modules, so obviously administrators can configure this tile view, and it will work with additional modules, and it'll also work with custom modules as well now. So it's been made available for other modules. Okay, and then I think that's everything I want to show you on there. Okay, no, 1 second. So we've then got updated views after closing a focus drawer. So previously, when you opened a focus drawer, so let's just open this focus drawer, for example, and then you may have made a change here. So you might just want to update the expected close date, for example, and you save that. Previously, you would have had to have gone back to the list view and refreshed to see that change. Well, what they've done now is as soon as you edit something here, it refreshes automatically when you close the focus drawer and updates the information you've just updated it with. Okay, so you don't have to go away and manually refresh anymore. And then another update here on the user interface is the additional filter operators. So what we have now is, so if I go ahead and create a filter, you will see, if I just go date created, we have these three: next X amount of days, last X amount of days, and then more than so many days ago. So you could say, show me opportunities that were created in the last 5 days. And that will then go ahead and update that view for you, or the last 364 days, for example. So you've then got the flexibility now to further segment the information on your date and time fields. Okay. Any questions on that? Any feedback? Okay, we'll move to. Okay, perfect. Anything there that you thought was good? Are you looking forward to trying any of that out? Anything you thought, oh yeah.
Yeah, I like to look at the new tiles. Is that automatically applied for everybody, or have you an option to switch to that and the old way, or is it just across the board for everybody?
It's across the board for everybody if you're on Sugar Cloud for Sell and Serve. So when you next when you upgrade to the next version, it'll be there.
Okay.
For those that are on cloud, if you have a sandbox on cloud as well, they'll update your sandbox first, so you can go in and have a play around on the sandbox. Yeah. Just to add in there as well, Sarah, I showed this to a customer not too long ago, and you know where you're seeing basically the tasks, for instance, in there, you're able to customize limited, but you're able to customize what you can actually view on those task panels in the admin section as well. So if you didn't want to see the expected close date, you could drag that off and add something else on there, which is quite handy too.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, next slide, dashlets and dashboards. Okay, so a few new changes here as well. And Emma, I spoke to Emma this morning and she's quite excited by the dashboard filters, which I'll show you. So we now have, oh, my mouse is one of those touch mouse. Hang on, why is it? There we go. So we now have a dashboard filter that controls multiple dashlets from your dashboard. I will show you that. The new pipeline metrics dashlet. So this is obviously on SugarCell only. So if you're using SugarCell, you will see there is a new dashlet that's been added for pipeline metrics. And there's also been improvements to the case record view dashlet layout. So I can show you these as well. So let's go ahead and open. Let's get Sugar back here. Perfect. And so let's go with the dashboard filters. So on your dashboard at the moment, it might look like this, it might not, but you'll have hopefully a variety of dashlets. You will notice there is a button up here now. So what you're able to do is you're able to create and name dashboard filters. You're able to create filter groups based on data types. set default filter values, as well as saving any filter values for each dashboard user, for example. So just to show you this, I've got a dashboard filter set up. So I can say, well, just show me everything by this month and hit apply. And the dashlets that have a by created date, so these two here automatically update just by me controlling one filter. If I want to edit that filter or get rid of it, and we'll start a new one. So I can go add a filter, and your dashlets will kind of show you what filters you have on those reports. So we've got by date created, we've got by expected close date. So if I could just go ahead and click one of those to say by date created, and then I can say, go ahead and say is after or is before, for example, or is last 30 days. And I'm just going to put date created last 30 days and go ahead and save that. And now I've updated my dashboard, and everything that is tracking a date created date is updating to the last 30 days. I can add another one. So I could add another filter as well, and by expected close date. So you can have multiple filter groups as well to use. Okay, and in terms of the pipeline metrics dashlet, which is here. So this has been added. Let's expand it out. So if you expand it out, or you can have it here, for example. But if I just pull that out, we can see the forecast that's included in the pipeline, excluded, what's won, what's lost, everything all together. The quota for the person and the commitment that they've gone ahead and gone for the commitment. So you can just basically see here, do you want an auto refresh? You can choose to take out, for example, some of the metrics that's included as standard, and then you can go ahead and customize what you want to see in that pipeline dashlet. And then in terms of the case record view dashlet, so if I just go to the case module a second and open one of those, so if I just open this up in a focus drawer, your case view dashlet is going to appear here. What Sugar have added now as standard, and the visual enhancements that have been added, is the primary contact field has been added to the default layout. So that's always there now. It's added by default. The follow-up date that displays the amount of calendar time or since the follow-up date now has a color-coded badge, as we can easily see. And then the status field, obviously, which sets the value here, is also now a color-coded badge. Okay, and they are there as default if you're going to be, if you are or are going to make use of the cases module. Okay. Perfect. So let's go and have a look at the next section here. Yep. Sorry, sorry, I've just pulled the teams up. I can see the hands up.
Hello.
Hello. Hi.
Sorry. Big fan of the dashboard filters. I was just wondering what extent, what fields you can filter by. Is it like a limited default sort of few fields that we can choose? Or is it a case of, you know, you got a little bit more, because we've got quite a lot of customization, and I know that people would want to get quite fruity with it. Yeah. So I was just wondering, sort of like what limitations are there?
It's basically the same type of runtime filters you'd use on a report. So they're just using runtime filters, and you can do it. Obviously, so if you've got a report and you've set up that runtime filter on the report, you can group your dashboard filters with those. So just how you report in now, but you can bring it global to the dashlets.
Okay. And the follow-up date stuff, you know, where it's color coded, I assume that there's some sort of configuration we can do there to sort of, you know, choose when the color goes red, etc.
That's a good question. There's massive feedback. That's a good question. Jamie, what we'll do is we'll come back to you on that. I'll just have a play around with it in the admin section to see if we can change the colours based on status.
Yeah, that would be brilliant. More like time window, time frame. But yeah, that's great.
Yeah, no, we can take a look at that. If Emma, can you make a note of that for us?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for your questions. Anybody else for any more questions? Okay, so over to the administration enhancements. Okay, so some of the enhancements here, both for sell and serve on the administration section. Basically, what we have here is just going back to the tile view. So the tile view is, as I mentioned earlier, available to configure across most sidecar modules with obviously the features of the column count and totals and across different modules. So this is what the settings section looks like when you're configuring the tile view from administration. So you can see what modules you'd like it enabled on. You can see the individual settings for that module as well. So if you're looking at it on the calls module and you've gone into tile view, you will see that the columns will be default by status. So that's going to be planned, held, cancelled, and then you can choose what it is you want to see on that tile, as Emma pointed out earlier. So that'll just go straight to administration, scroll down, and it'll be in its own option under tile view settings. Oh, sorry, I've got one of these touch mice and it just keeps going back and forth. Right, I'll keep my hands here. So in terms of the Sugar BPM, there's been an update to do a validation check on record assignment. So this basically means that a validation check has been added to Sugar BPM processes to prevent records from being assigned to users if they have an inactive status at the time the process is run. Okay, so that's been added as well in this recent update. And then for those that obviously utilize the Sugar Logic, there's been two new functions added. So we have the is owner. So a new Sugar Logic function of is owner returns the currently logged in user, which lets you create dynamic formulas that factor in the current user viewing the record. And then the second one here for is assigned basically checks if a record is assigned to someone, which then will let you build calculations or determine visibility based on record assignment. Okay, so there's two new Sugar Logic function that have been added there. Okay, on to the action buttons. So in terms of the action buttons here for sell and serve, we've got action buttons added to the focus drawers. So basically action buttons and action menus can now be added to the focus drawers so that of course actions can be performed quickly from within the drawer with a click of a button. We've got the assign to current user action buttons. So you can now create a button to dynamically assign records to the currently logged in user instead of the static user selected during the button configuration. So out of the box now, Sugar provides an example of this on the cases module, which is this claim button here that you're seeing. So this is a case here. And when a user clicks that, it'll just assign it to the user that clicked it. So, but you can, you could use that on leads, you could use that on, any module, but just out of the box, Sugar have added that to cases. And then we have the quick actions available from the cases module. Okay, so on the cases module, you're going to see what I just mentioned, the claim button. You're going to see the close button here. So the close button will just simply quickly close a case when the button is clicked. And then we've got the unassign option as well, which is just over here on the right hand side in the menu. And this will basically remove the assigned user from a case, freeing up the case to be taken by somebody else. But you could have, just thinking about this from leads and opportunities, you could have buttons for quick actions like not qualified, and then you could have a process running that once that's clicked, it assigns it back to the BDR, for example, that found the lead to then further qualify it. But yeah, just looking at it, obviously this is on cases, but these buttons that now gives you the ability to do quick actions on all modules. Any questions on that, anybody? Okay, I'll keep talking. Can you all still hear me? Because I've hidden the Teams thing, so I can't see Microsoft Teams right now, but can you all still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, moving over to guided selling, known as SugarAutomate, previously known as the customer journey plugin. Okay, so there's been a couple of enhancements here as well. So in terms of the bi-directional sugar actions, so we have the sugar actions panel just here. In addition to just triggering parent record actions based on the smart guide activity, you can now configure sugar actions to trigger smart guide status changes. For example, when a field on the parent record is changed. So if you're using SugarAutomate, you can now do bi-directional sugar actions. Okay, so in terms of an action from sugar to an action from a task in a smart guide. As part of another feature here, you now have the option to hide smart guide stage numbers if you are an administrator. So you can now configure the guide. So here's a screenshot of it down here, over here. So we can now show and hide. We've got a toggle here if you want to display or not display the stage numbers. How many of you on here are using SugarAutomate? Many? Just a yes in the comments box or a hands up, or if you want to know more, let us know. And then coming to the final slide of the updates, I told you this was going to be quick. We have some updates to Sugar Connect. This is being used more and more. I've seen from our customer base, more and more of you are using Sugar Connect. We use it all the time. I think it's really, really good. So I'm really pleased about some of these enhancements that they've made. So we now have the ability to sync event types and status. So here I've just given a screenshot when I logged into mine here. So you can see there's defined settings by default, but obviously you can toggle these as well. So if you don't want to sync tasks and you only want to sync scheduled meetings, then you now have the flexibility to do that. So just to confirm that administrators in your Sugar Connect portal can now set the default behavior for which event types and statuses sync from Sugar to your external calendar, be it obviously Outlook or Google. Second one here is the calendar sync setting. So administrators can now set the default behavior for which calendar is used when syncing events between Sugar and the email client. So obviously when you log in, you get primary calendar, Sugar calendar, secondary calendar. You can now just choose as an admin what the default behavior is for calendar syncing, which is going to make things so much easier when you're setting up Sugar Connect if you're not using it already. And the third one here is using hint data. So if you do use hint, and let's say, you know, if you are using Sugar Connect now, if somebody emails you that's not in your Sugar system at the moment, or you don't know them, you tend to get this message here saying no entries found. And usually you can click one of these buttons, then add the information in and it saves it to Sugar. But what we can do now is use the information that hint presents to you on the Sugar Connect panel, and it will pull the information from hint and go and create that lead for you. So yeah, using hint data to create your leads and contacts directly in Sugar from Outlook or Google Mail. Does anyone have any questions on Sugar Connect? If you're not using it and would like to know more, just let us know. You know, we can talk you through it and all of the other features that Connect offers. It's really quite a it's got loads of features in it, and I make use of quite a bit of them in the role that I do here in sales anyway. Okay, some of you are registered for Sugar Connect, the 4th of October in London. We're looking forward to seeing you there. Emma, who's on the call, and most of you will know Emma, she's actually going to be a speaker at Sugar Connect. So that's pretty exciting. So yeah, just under a month to go for Sugar Connect. We're looking forward to seeing you there. You can still register. So if you'd like a link or you want to know more about Sugar Connect, then reach out to your main point of contact here at Provident, and we'll talk to you and share more information about that. It's basically, you know, insights from industry leaders. There's, you know, educational sessions that Sugar run at Sugar Connected. So yeah, any more information you'd like to know on that, please let us know, and we look forward to seeing you there. And that's it from me. So told you, really quick. Just a quick quarterly update. I haven't had to cover 2 or 3 quarters in one session today. So thank you all for joining. But any questions, any feedback, anything you'd like to know more about that we can contact you on? Anything? Anyone?
No.
Right.
More to go. Yeah, that's pretty bad now. I washed my hands, but I wasn't there.
Thanks. That was great, Sarah.
No, that's perfect. Thank you, Jamie. We'll come back to you on your question around the colour coding on cases.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you. See you all soon.